That's Lian Buan, our senior investigative reporter, reporting from The Hague. We now have with us Rappler correspondent Michelle Abad, who's covering outside the court. Michelle, what's the atmosphere there? Any updates?
Yes, good morning, Jairo. I'm outside the ICC for day 3 of the confirmation of charges hearing of former President Duterte. I'm sure Lian mentioned it in her report, but today is attorney Nicholas Kaufman's day, with the defense taking the floor for the entire day. And it's the full day for the defense to debunk what was put out on the table for the allegations against the former president, and it's a listening day for the victims. Just to remind also our viewers, the former president has waived his right, rather, to be present at the hearing, and he will not be there to defend himself. I'll just give you a little bit of a recap from the day yesterday, especially since there was a break. So yesterday in the break, there was a bit of time for some of the parties to really just take a break and reprocess some of the things that were already mentioned in the hearing so far. Yesterday I was at Duterte Street, the so-called Duterte Street, which is a fenced area from the ICC grounds where the ICC detention center is, where the former president is detained. There was a media interview given there by some of the pro-Duterte lawyers, Salvador Medialdea, Medialdea Panelo, and Martin Delgra, who are former appointees of the president, and they gave a press interview at Duterte Street, and they were really just asked to give some views on how they thought of the hearing so far, and they basically echoed the defense of what Attorney Kaufman has already given in the opening statements. So basically, they had this view that this case is still political, that it had weak evidence. For Medialdea, for example, there were he said that he called them theatrics, baliwala daw ang ebidensya. He compared what was described as crimes against humanity during times of war. There were hundreds of thousands killed, and sabi nga niya, in these previous discussions of what crimes against humanity are, and former Executive Secretary Medialdea said that the former president did what he had to do to clean the nation. And he also said that the words that were used from the former president's speeches were taken out of context, and that if you would listen to the full speeches that the former president gave, that he actually had a bigger meaning, or that it wasn't necessarily to kill out of the bounds of the legal system. And so basically he said that nothing was substantiated. The same things were mentioned by former LTFRB chairperson Martin Delgar, who was also here, and said that the evidences given by the prosecutions and the representatives of the victims was nothing more than a rhetoric, a narrative. They denied, and Mr. Delgar also denied, that this was a war on the poor, and that the former president was for the poor. And he also focused on the political character of this case that he believes in. For example, he said he substantiated this claim that this case is political because of the fact that the Philippines has a policy to bring home incarcerated Filipinos, whether they are in trial or even convicted, as much as possible, to bring them back home to the Philippines. And he even likened the case to the one of overseas Filipino worker Mary Jane Veloso, who by the current president Marcos was brought home to the Philippines, even though she was serving her sentence in an Indonesian prison. So he's saying that this is proof that this is political. Kasi bakit hindi daw magawa ng Administrasyong Marcos ang itong effort para maibalik ang presidente? So this is the reiteration of their claim that this case is political. And they also wanted to say that there were questions also raised on whether they were cooperating officially with the defense today. And they said that not technically cooperating as of now, but they were just witnessing, but maybe down the line. Former Chief Legal Presidential Counsel Panelo said that his son Paulo had applied for him, as far as he knows, to be accredited at the ICC. So let's see what will happen there. But as of today, they are confident that Attorney Nicholas Kaufman will do well in defending the case.
Yeah. Michelle, just a follow-up question. In the last 2 days, you were able to talk to the supporters of the former president, and in the last two hearings, it has been established that they were not really, into witnessing the hearings itself. They told you that they would like to, watch the hearings later on, hindi sila nanood real time. How about today? This is Nicholas Kaufman's day. Basically the defense lawyer of the former president would try to rebut the submissions of the prosecution and the victims. Nakausap mo na ba sila? Anong sabi nila? Would they watch today or what?
Actually, yun din yung natanong ko kahapon sa Duterte Street. Siyempre, after ng press interview with the Duterte lawyers, tinanong ko din yung ibang na nakilahok dun sa Duterte Street kung manonood na ba sila ng live stream today, especially since Attorney Kaufman will have the floor. At sabi nga nila na talagang manonood daw sila live, if not in the public gallery, then also outside with the live stream.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Michelle Abad. That's our Rappler correspondent. And now Michelle will join Lian inside the chamber to cover the day 3 of the confirmation of charges hearing of former President Rodrigo Duterte's ICC cases. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Jairo.
Now let's go to our experts here.